This is an open letter to the Sane Society. I think it's a good idea for people who want to have children and who advocate for more children. I think it may be a good idea that before having children themselves, before having any children, people should be expected to raise a few generations of chickens. It's sort of like, oh, okay, you're a family now, you want to have children. Here it is. You have to first raise, you know, a few generations of chickens. Here is a piece of land. Here is a somewhere to live in, and then you have to raise the chickens here a few generations. Because then, you know, I think that would be beneficial. And the reason is, here is the what I did and the experience that I've had. You raise a few generations of chickens. I got to the point that, feeling like the Almighty, I decided that, okay, every day that I pick two eggs from my chicken coop, I eat one and I incubate the other. I got a handful of chickens and a rooster, and were the proud owner of a bunch of chickens for a few years. And the numbers go up and down. You mostly, sell the extras. But the reality is that after go, and many of them just casualties, from the chicken hawk to the what do you call it, the skunks, and these bandit looking fellows that come out at night, raccoons and skunks. I caught a skunk eating my chicken, and when I tried to go near it, it actually did the spray, and the whole fucking place smelled like shit for a week. But the thing is, the, everything preys on chicken. Apparently, everybody loves dinosaur meat. The mammals like the dinosaurs. Anyway, so everybody likes chicken meat, and so these guys were just, open buffet for all kinds of wildlife. Great experience in terms of, first of all, if then after passing a few years of this, then if you still want to have children, oh, go right ahead. At least you have some understanding of responsibilities and dangers, and you have some understanding with regards to that. You have passed the chicken test, now you can have a child. And it's good for them, and it's going to be good for many who will choose not to have children after the chicken experience. Because here's the thing. One thing is clear, that when you do that experience of having eaten one egg and helped that egg reach the sewer line, every morning you eat an egg, and by afternoon that egg has reached the sewer line. What remains of that egg? So that's a very fast chemical separation, breakage, separation, absorb what you need, let go of the rest. Happens within, from the time the egg comes out of the chicken to it joins the sewer system, it's about 7, 8, 9 hours max. But then the other egg that just came next to this egg, that same morning, you incubated. After 21 days it hatches, and now you have to provide some kind of chick feed for it, and while they're small. I lost a bunch of chicks by just three rats. Rats would come at night, and they had found a hole in my chick coop. You have to prepare a small chick coop for smaller. You can't put the chicks in with the chickens. They die under their stampede, or just they don't care. Chickens really don't care. They're much like humans. They really don't care. The chickens are bigger than chicks, and they just step on them or just eat them, just pick on them and eat them, because nobody is claiming this chick. Imagine the chicks that belong to the same chicken, they will eat them if they hadn't sat on the eggs. So here's the funny thing. When the chick sits on a bunch of eggs, she will sit on other chicks' eggs, and if that egg produces chicks, she will treat those chicks as her own. Imagine that. The chicken is sitting, she's willing to sit on her own egg as well as eggs from other chickens, and she doesn't discriminate after birth, probably because she can't tell one from the other. So she basically incubates her own eggs and some from other chickens in the coop. Fine. So, but the same chicken, if she has, when she has those chicks, protects those chicks from other chickens, so they wouldn't eat them. But if the same eggs are incubated and then these chicks are produced, and then you let it go between the big chickens, because none of the chickens recognize these as their own, because they haven't been sleeping on them, they will eat them. They just fight each other over eating the little chicks that most of them might be their own kids. They just don't know. So my point is this is a primitive dinosaur. If I sat on you, you became an egg. Even if you weren't my egg, I treat you as my own. But if I find you in the street, I eat you. Anyway, so this is the primitive format. That aside, that was a side note. But my point is this. So you have chicks by themselves. You have all kinds of animals, even smaller animals, smaller mammals, interested in eating chicks, including rats. And as I said, there was this small, about this big, not a normal skunk that you recognize as this is a skunk. No, black and white with a stripe of white in the back. No, this was a variety of skunk that was only about this big. Anyway, maybe this big with the tail, but still it wasn't a big skunk as you expect. Anyway, and it couldn't eat the bigger chickens. This motherfucker was eating the smaller chicks, one and every night, for a long while, until I recognized that the hole that I made under the coop so the water can pass, even through that small hole this motherfucker is coming in. I never thought anything squeezing through that small hole would be, vicious enough to kill a little chick, but then I was wrong. Salute. Salute to being wrong. But here's the other thing that you get when you raise chickens. When you, I believe the word is juxtapose these two positions. I might be wrong in using that word. Juxtapose these two positions, and you see that the one that from production to joining the sewer line takes 7-8 hours, and then the life that this little chick has to lead, that 9 out of 10 times is a very painful exit. 10 out of, I'm sorry, did I say 9? I meant 10. 10 out of 10 times is a painful exit. The last kind of painful exit is the worst kind, that you go out with a lot of pain, whether through murder or, whether through old age. The last kind is through old age. It's sort of like, let's say you can die in 10 ways. 10 out of 10 times, you're going out with pain. Not only you're going out with pain, you have endured a shitload of pain throughout your fucking life. A shitload of pain. And here's what I know. A lot of you can say, no, 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 I'm going to be a good father, and my child is not going to endure any pain because I'm going to protect. Fuck you. If you protect your child to and say that you will protect your child from any pain, then again, fuck you, because the result is going to be you're going to raise a very antsy child, a very pissy child, a very selfish, ignorant child. A child that grows up with no pain is doesn't come out sane. You see what I'm saying? It's the pain that will moderate people. So if the child comes up very protected, it becomes a very prissy, antsy pants, fancy pants asshole, which I guess you're hoping you don't, provide the society with these assholes. We're hoping that you're trying your best. Well, if you protect, they will come out, fancy pants. And if you don't protect, then that's the pain. It's the pain that makes a man or a woman. It's the pain. But if you protect them enough so they don't have to endure any kind of pain anywhere, raise your kid in a gated community, a very rich gated community. That's, fancy pants. Comes out as a fancy pants. And if you do, you're living by the railroad and your kid grow up as a different kind of asshole. You see what I'm saying? But the kind of asshole that has taken in a lot of pain, has seen a lot of pain, so he has become an asshole. You see, fancy pants and asshole. My point is this, that the asshole is an asshole to everybody else, including an asshole to himself. An asshole doesn't have a good life. It's going through the day fighting with everybody. That's an asshole. But he's not having a good time either. Believe me, it's not showing anybody any good time. But the point is this: the pain has created an asshole. You see what I'm saying? So, like the chickens, if even if the chicken escape would be the lucky one that escapes, my, expectation of meat. If the chicken escapes the raccoon and the chicken hawk and the eagle and the rats, now the chicken is in old age and has her bones is she has difficulty walking because of the pain in the joints. It's an animal. All animals wear out. Everything wears out. So my point is this, that what are you creating by creating children? You are creating either a fancy pants who's not going to be any use to himself or the society, or you're going to be creating and not protecting your children and creating an asshole with a very painful life, just like everybody else. Even the fancy pants, because become it has been protected most of his life. Even the fancy pants eventually it is going to feel the pain, but much later in life. And a lot of the fancy pants says, commit suicide because the pain they were protected while they were children. Now at old age they are at older age they feel disrespected by everybody because they've been protected. Anyway, my point is this: either case, either pain comes early or pain comes late. Either pain comes early in case of assholes or pain comes late in case of fancy pansies. Still, pain comes. Again, I haven't done as a creator. I didn't do any of those chicks that I incubated. I didn't do them any good. They were tools for me, tools to for me to eat something from them, or just to have around as amusement. They were my tools for my amusement. That's all. And I really didn't do that. Those chicks that I incubated, I didn't do them any favor. Retrospectively, I did favor to those eggs that I consumed for breakfast because they had an easy come, easy go, nothing to know. That's a much better, exit than the egg that I, is it the egg that the chick that lived the longest with me? It was a white chicken with a sideway cockle or cockle, what they call it, something that is under her head. Anyway, that chicken that was I had the longest for like 4 or 5 years had all kinds of difficulty with walking, and she was very smart. She stayed out of the hawk's way, always looking up, but it was the old age became after 5 years. It was clear it was she was having difficulty walking. I guess out of slow walking, another chicken hawk took her away. But the point is this: that it was a use for me, yes. Was it a use for them? Was the chickens proving any point or winning any accolades or any points in reproducing for me? You see what I'm saying? It becomes a point at which you basically say maybe having children is very selfish. You become bored in life, and in order to give yourself some vigor, you amuse yourself by having children. Because I understand, watching children play and scream and be all happy, and that it's very joyful. Everybody enjoys, watching children be joyful and happy. Everybody enjoys that. There's no question. You get a uplift in your spirit when you see the innocent have fun. But the point is this: that it's selfish in the sense that you have created them to amuse yourself because you were bored, to amuse yourself, whether you had the to create, but then you're not thinking in terms of the chickens, that you do understand that this thing that you're creating, if you protect it too much, it will feel the pain later in life, and if you don't protect it, it will feel the pain earlier in life. Either case is going to be one physically painful, mentally painful, emotionally painful existence for a period of time, and then down the sewer line. I'm not sure. The egg that I ate a year ago hasn't had a better time, easier time than the rooster that I had for a year, then uh, was sold for consumption. And then when you go a step farther and you say, let's assume Uh, how I came into thinking about this, there is a piece of news story that Carter, President Carter, when he was one of the last presidents who were read into after they became president. And after that, apparently, whoever is in charge of this business stopped reading these presidents into the situation with aliens because the effect it had on Carter. Uh, they told Carter the truth about the aliens. And now we don't know what they told him, but Carter's reaction was that they say he went quiet for a long while, then he started crying. And after that, they basically stopped telling the president, even the president, anything about the the UFOs, the aliens. They told Carter he had a change of heart and a change of mind and blah blah blah. And after that, they stopped telling any presidents. And he cried. The only thing that makes sense to me that is connected to what I'm talking about, the situation with the chickens, the only thing that makes sense to me is that they told Carter that there are aliens and they are much more intelligent than us, much more sophisticated than us, and they are probably the ones who have created us through genetic manipulation and blah blah blah, and they're observing us, period. And this is the only thing that could have caused Carter to cry. And if you have noticed, Carter, President Carter, Jimmy Carter's President Jimmy Carter's uh, situation with regards to how he led his life after his presidency. He became a you know, he started literally physically working with Habitat for Humanity and building homes and blah 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 for people who can't afford it and blah blah blah. And he he's and then other very good causes. And then during his presidency, he didn't start any new wars. And this was his and it was 4 years, but he didn't start a single new war or any, any unfortunate actions. And that's one way the Iranians got to decide their own fate. That's what they blame it on Carter, because Carter sat back and said, who am I to decide? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have a feeling that this is what they told Carter, that he internationally he sat back and tried to be a more observer than a participant in the world affairs, in participating in trying to change governments and overthrow this and overthrow that. We stopped. That was Carter's mood during his whole presidency. And apparently that's the thing. They told him they told him about the truth of the UFO right at the beginning of his presidency. So for the full year he became a pacifist president. My point is this, that here's the thing. Animals play with their food, and the more intelligent an animal is, the more it plays with its food. Dolphins love to play with their food. I was just, one day swimming in an area where dolphins were hunting, and suddenly something hit me over the head, I got out of the water and realized they killed the fish and they just tossed it to me. As in sort of like, here you go, buddy. Leave the pool. It was a very nice gift. But the point is this, that uh, I'm sorry, I lost the train of thought. The more intelligent an animal is, the more it plays with its food. Then it starts observing their food. We know stories, we have seen it, that cats, literally sit around and play with the mouse that they're about to eat for a while before they eat it. It's just amusement. And the more intelligent animal, the more amusing it becomes, and the more elaborate games they play with their food. Humans have continued on this path, and they literally, put rats in mazes and see whether, how does the use of different drugs or chemicals affects this rat's ability to navigate this maze or do that or do the other, and stand on its head or whatever. We just do to rats as if nothing. Hey, we are more intelligent than this motherfucker, so we want to amuse ourselves with this motherfucker, and we want to learn from it. Teach it and learn it. They teach rats to do all kinds of tricks, and they learn. They write down and learn the behavior of rats. And it has come to such an extent, they still can't make any biological creatures of their own, or they're prohibited by law and, religion and all of that, so they don't start producing biological creations of their own, but they are producing mechanical creations of their own. The robots, they have been dreaming of creating mechanical simulations to humans, like the robots from 50s and 60s. They've been, dreaming, and now reality of the mechanical simulations of humans. So you have this, in this short history, this all the experiments they're done on animals, studying animals, teaching animals, experiencing with animals, and then trying to create a sophisticated animal that we can, maybe not in biological sense, but in mechanical sense. So, why would be impossible to think that very intelligent creatures who have lived maybe 1,000,000 years longer than us, have a 1,000,000 years continuous history without blowing themselves up with nuclear weapons. They have had, let's say 1,000,000 years of continuous civilization and technology. It would make sense that, Earth could be their lab, and all the fucking creatures on Earth could be their lab rats, and they're running a grand experiment. And we are the most intelligent within their maze that they have created for us, within the maze. And I think that's what threw Carter off. That, if you see yourself not being watched not by God, but by, physical creatures just like us, physical creatures that you can touch, and they were being told that these guys were your creators. They're very much more intelligent than you, and this is their lab. Earth is their lab. They have created it, or it was there, and they brought life and start their lab on the barren rock. It just had the right condition. It had water, and it had the right distance from the sun, and blah blah blah. Anyway, had the right condition. They just brought their lab in and started creating life, and experimenting and learning and studying the different life that they've created, just for, knowledge and amusement. Salute. In such a scenario, yeah, you have a creator, but it's not an invisible God, Almighty God, but it is an alien race of beings who happen to put their lab upon Earth. They're observing, they're teaching, they're learning. By observing us, they're learning and teaching and blah blah blah. So maybe that's what they told Carter. Because only under this specific explanation, the life that Carter led after presidency makes sense. He didn't become really Christy, he didn't become an evangelical. He didn't, he didn't become a total atheist. He just went out of his way to try to be kind to his fellow man. And the only way that makes sense is that if he feels that he's the rat in the maze and he's being watched by these aliens, and he wants to give a good impression, he wants to live as best a ratty life as he can in this rat show. I think that's the only thing that makes sense, that he started living a very modest life. Because once you realize you're being watched, as somebody is writing down, literally, not no Santa Claus and no God, nobody fucking writing anything down in that sense, but literally you have an observer, an alien whose job it is to write down, anything out of ordinary that you do, or you and 100 other people that that alien has in his to-do list, they have to write down. And imagine that they can, just like the rat doesn't know he's in a maze. It just sees two walls and a road that it has to follow, and it's not really interested. Yes, somebody's up there, maybe not, maybe there is somebody up there or not. Where do I go? Just follows the maze. So that's the thing, is maybe they are in higher dimensions, they have technology to hide themselves, and they're just observing us and learning and teaching to us and learning from us, just by how we learn when we amuse ourselves with the people have ant farms in their bedroom, and they write down whatever they want to write down with regards to information, with regards to continuous work of the ant farms, beekeepers, chicken. The same thing with the aliens, they're watching us. And then you say, okay, so for every child that I create, I'm going to bring that child, just like the chicken. For every egg that the chicken creates and I incubate, I will introduce more pain, more amusement for myself, more pain for that creation. That chick is going to go become a chicken or a rooster. It's going to either have a longer life or a shorter life. Nevertheless, it's going to be a very painful, shitty existence with occasional, occasional seconds of happiness. You open the chicken coop in the morning and the chickens all come running out, into the grass as if, it's something amazing. Every morning, being let go to roll around in the grass. It's a roll around in the hay, around in the grass. It's a quite a momentarily shots of happiness in a rather long, miserable life, from hunger and heat to cold and obesity to, the whole thing is one long, painful experiment. And also, somebody can up there write down what you did, some alien for some aliens' amusement. Ah, I'm not sure it's a good idea. I mean, if you do that, if you have chickens before you raise a couple of generations of chickens before you have kids, this becomes all clear in terms of why do you want to have children, and you think it's going to have a it's going to be a better experience for that egg to incubate or find its way to the sewer right away. Which one? It becomes difficult to say whether the woman who keeps the child is being selfish or the woman who aborts the child is selfish. It becomes difficult to say. That by aborting the child is, yes, it's being selfish because she wants to do more different things instead of being tied down to a plant that you need to prune and fertilize and raise. That's it. That you have to plant. Literally, having a family is like planting trees. You can't go nowhere for a long time. You can't, lead a. Let's put it this way: you can't lead a very different life for a long time. Whether this woman who aborts her child because she doesn't want to lead her life, in a certain way for a very long time, she wants to have change. She wants to have, a variety. She wants to have whatever. Or whether the woman who has the kid is being selfish because she's bored and she wants to amuse herself with her own power of creation. She wants to fill her time and be creator, whether she's being selfish because what she's creating is going to go through a life of pain. Again, either pain, if for protected children, pain later on in life, or unprotected children, pain at the beginning of their life. Either case, she's the one who does have the child instead of aborting the child. Maybe she's being selfish because she wants to feel good about herself, feel productive, feel like a mother, feel the feelings, emotions that women like to feel, all these emotions. Just for that, and the joy of, as I said, watching children run and scream is very joyful to everybody. But just because your life is sad and you feel miserable doesn't mean you should bring another creature to this world who's also going to go through the same misery that you're experiencing. That's exactly what's going to happen to the child. What do you think? You think that your child is going to achieve immortality? No. Your child is also going to grow old, if not die by an accident or sickness or other shit. Your child is going to die old, a miserable life of oldness through joint pain and forgetfulness and joint pain. And would that be a better solution? Seriously, it's difficult to wish for a shorter life or a longer life. A shorter life with less pain and a longer life with more pain. And, it's a it's a so I again, it's difficult to think which woman is being more selfish. The one who keeps the child. I mean, Yeah, you keep the child and you're going to be amused for either a short time or a long time, and then you're going to learn some, teach some, learn some, teach some. But either way, your child is going to go through a lot of shit in life. Have you done the right thing by having the child? Create another cycle of pain and misery? And please don't say memory is this and memory is that and experience this and experience that. Oh, fuck. After you die, they say, when the last person who remembers you dies, you're gone. My, you know, great grandfather is gone because I know shit about the guy, so he's gone. And anybody else who knew any shit about the guy, they're gone too. So, and there is a handful of people whose names are recorded in some book here or there. And what's the point? Even if there was somewhere some information about my great grandfather, do I ever want to know it? For what purpose? So I can hold my head higher a little or lower a little? Should my chicken be proud of her heritage? Before before slaughter or after slaughter? You should have chickens before you have children. It's very important. It's a and do this experiment of incubating one egg and eating one egg, and then it's interesting. As chickens running around in some much more intelligent being watching us from the sky, probably. The same way we enjoy watching rats in and studying rats. I don't wish to bring anybody else to join our rat race. It's it's not nihilistic. It's just common sense. A pitiful, short lifespan filled with pain, experience filled with pain. And these women who have the abortions are the women who already admitting that they don't want to, or they cannot, or they don't want to provide that nurturing environment that the child wants. So the conservative are saying, no, 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 she should want that. It's like, if she doesn't want it, she's going to do, even if you force her to have the child, she's going to do a piss poor job of raising the fucking child. Because she already has said that she's not ready to raise a child. She wants to have an abortion. You want to have piss poor adults in your society? Then force all your women to have unwanted kids. You will have a lot of piss poor adults. Congratulations. More rats in the maze for the enjoyment of the ET.